There are secrets that reveal indisputable facts that are too scandalous to be ignored, and then there are secrets that rock history to its very core. The world community greatly misconstrued the full story of Princess Diana's terrible life, according to newly discovered private communication. Despite the royal family's best efforts, the confidential letter remained hidden for decades, exposing crucial information. What is the message of this letter? What makes it such a massive stain on the Queen Consort, who has stains galore? Come explore the discovery of Princess Diana's private letter regarding Camilla and the end of her reign with us. A dangerous letter. For a long time, the royal family dictated how the public understood Princess Diana's marriage, her struggles, and her departure from the royal family. Truths of Diana's terrible experience are revealed in this handwritten letter, which exposes a fate worse than anyone could have imagined. The letter exposes the emotional toll that a husband took on his wife, along with the humiliating isolation plot that he and his mistress devised. As a result of Camilla's interference, Diana describes in her letter the tremendous suffering she went through. Every person Charles interacted with, from the star to Camilla, served as a clever manipulator of his emotional ties. As the letter explains, Camilla took advantage of Charles's unresolved problems to boost his self-esteem, which ensured that his love for her would remain unwavering even after he married Diana. The damaging plot to remove Diana from her marital status was Camilla and Charles's affair. What hurts the most is that Diana's letter reveals the royal family did nothing to stop the situation. While Diana was innocent, she thought the monarchy would stand by her ideals and shield her from betrayal. She learned that the Queen and the monarchy had decided to ignore and disregard her as she suffered in total loneliness. Diana repeatedly asked for help in the letter, but nobody ever got back to her. She was instructed by those in charge of the royal family to remain steadfast and maintain regal displays, prioritizing the royal bloodline above everything else. As Camilla's connection with Prince Charles grew stronger over the protracted marital turmoil, the Queen remained silent. The gravity of her circumstances made Diana realize she had no one to lean on. The royal family insisted that Diana continue to fulfill the role of a faithful wife even after her marriage ended. Her hubby publicly humiliated her whenever she appeared in public, but she was compelled to act normally in order to preserve the appearance of having a full life. Camilla was well aware of the misery she was causing her adversary, so she went to every occasion. She didn't try to hide her true identity, she was confident the royal family would ignore her and not punish her. Diana was unable to escape the system's grip, which pitted the needs of tradition and social image against those of truth and justice. She shows in her letter that the royal family was never really worried about keeping her safe. All that was important to them was maintaining the secrecy of their secrets. The royal family was willing to let Diana suffer, so what more punishment are they willing to accept? Camilla's strategic alliance. Camilla Parker Bowles developed her public persona over many years to portray herself as King Charles's faithful girlfriend. Diana shows Camilla for what she really is in her letter, a woman who used her power to ruin Diana's life by manipulating the monarchy. The letter claims that Camilla's ambitions extended beyond her position as Charles's mistress and towards absolute authority. Camilla influenced Charles's decisions and isolated Diana from society through her participation in royal affairs. She used psychological techniques, such as making him feel guilty and flattering, to keep Charles under her control. It only transports you to a myriad of alternate realities. Everyone in Charles's life was touched by Camilla, Diana writes in her letter. The British royal family did their best to welcome Camilla, oblivious to the damage she had caused. As Camilla gained support from others and solidified her place in Charles's life, Diana watched her at Buckingham Palace. Diana describes her powerlessness, which is the most terrifying discovery in her letter. She was already mentally prepared to lose the fight before she even started. The young bride was wed to a man who had already betrayed his devotion to another woman. Whatever Camilla did, she managed to keep a tighter and tighter hold on Charles. When Diana learned more about the reality of her circumstances, she noticed a worrying pattern: she became ever more isolated from others. The royal family's efforts to silence her grew in tandem with her efforts to be heard. According to what Diana's dad mentioned this morning, he believes his daughter would be an excellent housewife. Your statement is appreciated. Because of her increasing independence and outspokenness, Diana was a threat to the royal family, and the letter shows that she recognized she no longer had protection. While detailing her experience of being watched and treated like a replaceable object, Diana emphasizes the notion that she was constantly being watched. Their willingness to put up with her years of abuse is indicative of how much more they will disrespect her. Officially ruling Diana's 1997 death an accidental one did little to allay long-simmering suspicions. Was the hurdle that needed to be removed the growing power of Camilla? Was there any indication from the royal family's actions that they were prepared to make more accommodating decisions in order to keep their secrets hidden? Also, how did Diana manage to inform the public about what had transpired? The verdict of Diana. Despite Princess Diana's continuous inner battles throughout her career, public audiences overwhelmingly backed her. As Prince Charles and Princess Diana began their married life together, rumors began to circulate about adultery and family strife. The chronic pain she endured has been documented in several written accounts and confirmed by personal accounts from different periods of her life. Much of the historical discourse surrounding Princess Diana's life is around the actions of Camilla Parker Bowles towards Prince Charles and Diana during their marriage. Because Diana's fate shaped the development of the British monarchy, her story has resonance even after she has passed away. Public demands for openness and accountability in the modern period marked a turning point for the conventional monarchy. The public continues to discuss the rules of royal ceremonial and the power dynamic among British royal officials because of the material revealed through Diana's letters and interviews. What Diana revealed about her emotions sheds light on her thinking towards Camilla. Diana revealed the love triangle that governed her marriage in a 1995 interview with Martin Bashir for BBC Panorama. It felt cramped because there were 3 people involved in the marriage issue, Diana admitted in her interview with the BBC. It is the power that leads to the confusion, but I believe every strong woman throughout history has had to follow a similar path. Diana spoke clean in this interview on the emotional toll that Charles's infidelity and Camilla's involvement in their marriage had on her. As she dealt with the emotional fallout of Charles's connection with Camilla, Diana was isolated by the royal family, as revealed in letters she sent to her closest friends. She worried that her voice would be silenced and that she would be perceived as a liability, rather than an advantage, and she expressed this fear to her closest friends through letters. Although specialists have confirmed the authenticity of some papers, they still challenge the veracity of others, casting doubt on the legitimacy of many of Diana's private letters and recordings that have been included in documentaries and books. Diana talked about her married status in letters she sent to Peter Setlin, who was her speech coach. She confronted Charles in a recorded video about the affair and explained how it had made her feel inadequate, revealing her predicament. Her psychological condition might be better understood thanks to these authentic recordings, which showed the extent of the harm she endured. Diana demonstrated her belief in being in an undesired marriage by her statements. But being around Camilla made her remember that Charles never truly desired her. What were the reactions of Prince Charles and other members of the royal family as news of these confessions spread? Could it have been 40 years ago? It was only yesterday, at most. Tomorrow would be ideal. No way. I'd just cancel it. What the royal family has said. Following Diana's revelations regarding her relationships, the public conducted a thorough investigation into the royal family. The royal family has, for generations, adhered to a formal policy of respectful silence in order to avoid public shaming. The establishment was compelled to acknowledge organizational internal strife as a result of Diana's public remarks and divorce proceedings. The royal institutions found it harder and harder to ignore the damage to their public image as a result of the affair's coverage in the media. The present Prince of Wales is depicted in the print. I hope my hubby is able to get some relief. Indeed, more matters ensue as a result. In an extraordinary statement issued following Diana's Panorama interview, Buckingham Palace expressed their disapproval of the public exposure of her private life. As soon as word of the scandal spread, Queen Elizabeth II issued an order for Charles and Diana to divorce. The couple's separation was officially announced in 1992, and the divorce was finalized in 1996. Rumor has it that the Queen made this decision not to back Diana, but to protect the monarchy's reputation, according to royal sources. Camilla remained out of the public eye throughout this time. After several years had gone, official royal sources finally spoke out about Charles and Camilla's relationship. After Diana accepted her marriage tied to a flawed system that broke during her emotional breakdown, she faced desertion by the royal establishment, according to records from Diana. Even though Diana was going through a terrible time, the royal institution insisted that she maintain an appropriate public persona. That letter to multiple persons has kept me somewhat busy. No amount of public sentiment towards Diana could alter the monarchy's primary goal of preserving stability. In the years that followed, people tried to mend Charles's image and get him and Camilla back on good terms. Workers at the royal palace subtly portrayed Charles as a guy who suffered through a rocky marriage until he found true happiness with his soulmate. Camilla went from being known as Charles's third party to his queen consort at what point in time? Re-establishing Camilla's role in royal life. One of the most controversial royal personalities of the modern era was Camilla Parker Bowles. After Diana's 1997 death, the British people was very critical of Camilla. Camilla chose to stay out of the spotlight for a long time. The royal effort to elevate Camilla from an infamous lover to a beloved member of the royal family was one of the most seamless shifts in British royal media history, even as society attempted to change her unsavory reputation. In 2005, Camilla wed Charles in a civil union, altering the public's view of her forever. Was Mrs. Parker Bowles involved in any way with the dissolution of your marriage? It was a marriage with three of us. In an effort to keep the scandal from spreading, they planned a secret wedding. They had been working on their public personas together for a while now, and their teamwork was clearly showing. Instead of focusing on Camilla's past issues, the royal family skillfully used media to highlight her charitable activities and her devotion to Charles. Over the course of several years, she was able to win over the royal family as public opinion turned against her. When Charles becomes king in 2022, Camilla will be bestowed the title of Queen Consort, a position officially supported by the British monarchy, according to Queen Elizabeth II's statement. Given that the prior strategy sought to maintain Camilla's status as princess consort rather than a queen, the transition signified a crucial shift. The royal family reorganized their public messaging around Camilla as she gradually regained her prominence. Despite the fact that the royal family officially acknowledged her appointment, many still associate her with Diana's terrible experience. Since there are many who are proud of Camilla's royal position, the interaction between her and public opinion is fraught with conflicting opinions. Although some think that not enough was done to alleviate Diana's pain. How did Diana's family come to be, and who were her biological parents, so that she might become a legitimate royal? Diana's ancestry and birthplace. Diana Frances Spencer joined the ranks of the British royal family on July 1, 1961. Over many decades, her family tree traced back to the British royal family. The Spencers were considered nobility due to their extensive estate holdings and their devotion to royal service. John Spencer, who was the 8th Earl Spencer, and Frances Roche, who was a member of the affluent Roche family, were Diana Frances Spencer's parents. The earliest moments of Diana's life were spent in Park House, located on the Sandringham estate in Norfolk, England. The strong connection between the Spencer family and the British crown was highlighted by this royal estate. She was brought up in opulence according to the conventional norms of British aristocracy. She had a miserable childhood while growing up in a magnificent environment. Even though Diana's birth was a source for joy for the family, there was some underlying tension due to her parents' desire for a male successor. Many people had different reactions when Diana came into the world because of the customary social importance of a male descendant for an aristocratic family. She carried the weight of her family's expectations into her interactions with her parents as an adult. As she grew up, Diana became the kind of gregarious, bright young woman who would change the world. The apparent abundance of her parents' money concealed the fact that their marital strife had a profound impact on her formative years. Under the cover of night, her parents' strained marriage erupted into violent fights. Her mother's romance with wealthy businessman Peter Shandkid exacerbated marital strife. When Diana's parents' marriage failed when she was 6 years old, it caused a public divorce in 1967. The emotional impact on little Diana of her mother's decision to leave the family home was profound. Diana and her siblings were hit hard by the breakup because of the immense stigma that was associated with divorce in the aristocratic society during that time. After their parents' divorce, Diana and her 3 siblings stayed with their dad. After a long battle in court, her father finally got sole custody of his children. Because of her unique connection to the Queen Mother, Lady Ruth Fermoy's opinion mattered much in the custody battle, and she wholeheartedly supported her grandson's wish to retain custody. I had long-lasting emotional distress during the divorce process. Either no one pays attention when you speak, or you think no one does. Things begin to unfold in a myriad of ways. For example, you're carrying a lot of emotional baggage, which Diana experienced during her mature life. Living at the Chile Spencer mansion after her mother abandoned her was a source of sorrow and sadness that Diana brought up again and time again throughout her life. Due to her father's difficulty expressing himself, Diana often sought solace from people beyond her own family. Despite the ups and downs she went through as a young woman, Diana was able to find joy in life. Charles Spencer, her younger brother, became one of her most ardent supporters throughout her life and with whom she formed a special relationship. Indeed, life experiences do mold an individual. Regardless, how effective was she in the end? An elegant young woman leading a social life. Diana was educated by governesses in her family before attending Riddlesworth Hall, a preparatory school in Norfolk. Upon reaching the age of 9, she immediately began her studies at the Kentish West Heath Girls' School. Diana struggled academically, in contrast to other children of the nobility. Diana wasn't very interested in the typical academic pursuits, but her natural empathy and charming charisma won her many admirers. Her high school extracurricular activities were where she truly shone. Because she dreamed of one day making it as a professional ballerina, Diana considered ballet to be her favorite pastime. She dedicated herself fully to her ballet training, but her dream of becoming a professional dancer faded as she became too tall. Dance ballet was out of reach for Diana when she was a little girl, but she never allowed that dampen her deep appreciation for the arts. During her time at West Heath, Diana's many caring traits became apparent. Diana was known for listening to the difficulties of her fellow pupils and offering them calming care while they were going through tough times. Teachers and friends alike remarked on how her kind nature and innate capacity to help others drew people to her. After failing to improve her academic performance at West Heath School, Diana dropped out at the age of 16. A short training in social graces at Switzerland's Institut Alpine Vidaminate had her ready to join the elite. Unlike the conventional life of an aristocratic lady, Diana had aspirations of her own. What she really wanted was a reason to live her life to the fullest. Diana longed to start a new chapter in London that was uniquely hers when she left Switzerland. Despite her noble lineage, she had to work as a nanny and a kindergarten aide to make ends meet. Her initiative and genuine concern for children were on full display during these formative years of Diana's life. Is he a vertical movable? Depending on the day, he can have a good or bad day. He is currently en route to the hospital after suffering a seizure yesterday. Diana could have chosen to live the socialite lifestyle if she wanted to, but she chose to instead concentrate on people-pleasing roles. The most fulfilling of her professional experiences was her time spent working at Pimlico's Young England Kindergarten. She was a natural at connecting with kids and did an excellent job taking care of them. After becoming a princess, Diana honed her approach to serving others, and her mentorship experience was a precursor to it. Her path towards ending child labor did not begin as she had anticipated. When and where did she meet the man who would ultimately prove to be her undoing? That moment when everything changed. When Diana turned 16 in 1977, Prince Charles was the first person he met. Lady Sarah Spencer, her older sister, was Charles's girlfriend when they first met. The first time Diana and Charles crossed paths, it was in an everyday setting, but fate had other plans for their eventual reunion. In 1980, during a rural weekend get-together, Diana and Charles were joined. At the time, Charles was under a great deal of pressure to find a suitable spouse. Since he was a member of the royal family, he had to find a life partner who embodied the classic qualities expected of a royal spouse, such as a noble lineage and impeccable moral character. Diana exemplified all the qualities that the public sought in a royal consort, with her gentle nature and great family history. As their romance progressed, the media keenly observed it. "That one, I will not do. I'll be tucked out of bed early that night, so that's why." Diana quickly became famous all around the world because people loved her for her innocent charm and purity. After receiving Charles's proposal in February 1981, Diana joyfully accepted his marriage proposal. Diana was engaged to the future King of England when she was 19 years old. Although they put on a good show in public, there were early warning signals of trouble in the relationship. Diana admitted that the rapid pace of events and the deluge of media coverage left her feeling bewildered. It worried her more and more that Charles spent so much time with Camilla Parker Bowles. In the midst of preparing for the extravagant wedding, worries that proved to be well-founded were ignored. On July 29, 1981, Diana was a bridesmaid at her royal wedding, which millions of people across the world witnessed at St. Paul's Cathedral. She took on a life of public responsibility, heavy service obligations, and intense public scrutiny when she became Princess of Wales. While on the surface everything seemed like a fairy tale, the reality turned out to be far more complicated. Before becoming a princess, Diana was a privileged young woman who suffered bereavement, learned compassion, and craved human connection. Her life experiences prior to her coronation laid the groundwork for her subsequent historic achievements. The next generation of royal family members will face many obstacles, but what lasting impacts will Diana's legacy have? The impact of Diana's legacy. Prince William and Prince Harry, Princess Diana's sons, carry on her legacy and continue to shape the royal family. Because of their mother's challenges, Prince William and Prince Harry often talk about their experiences at the institution and how those experiences shaped their ideas on royal service. As he prepares to become king, Prince William is inspired by his mother's approach to empathy and royal duty. Instead than focusing on Camilla, Prince William spoke more on his family responsibilities and private life. According to the first accounts, William was hesitant to accept Camilla into the family until Charles wed her, and he publicly supported their marriage. Because he has been so forthright, Prince Harry's case is unique. Spare, his book, revealed his private feelings towards Camilla, whom he accused of playing a pivotal role in the breakdown of his parents' marriage. In his view, the royal family was attempting to rebrand Diana by downplaying her importance in public life. Many of the challenges that Diana had since she was a public figure, such as excessive media attention and inadequate support from governmental institutions, resurfaced in 2020 with Harry and Meghan Markle's royal departure. Going beyond its historic confines, the royal institution is guided by Diana's legacy of compassion, advocacy, and openness. Her enduring impact on modern royal conduct has inspired her younger siblings to engage with the public in ways that challenge long-established norms in areas like as mental health advocacy, media communication, and philanthropy. Do you find these accusations against Camilla to be credible? Additionally, do you believe that the palace's system may use some alterations to make it more compassionate? Leave a comment below and tell us what you think. Get more content like this by subscribing, like, and sharing. Be sure to click on the video that appears next. Get ready to have a blast with it.